Zuzana Kaputova, MPTP, is a Slovak politician, lawyer, and environmental activist who has been president of Slovakia since 15 June 2019. Kaputova is the first woman to hold the presidency, as well as the youngest president in the history of Slovakia. Elected at the age of 45, she first became known by prevailing in a decade-long struggle against the situating of a toxic landfill in her hometown of Pezinok. For this, Kaputova was awarded the 2016 Goldman Environmental Prize. Kaputova won the 2019 presidential election with 58% of the vote in the runoff. "We'll try to have a constructive relationship with neighboring countries, but at the same time have clear stances and positions based on values," she told an interviewer. Zuzana Strapakova was born into a working-class family in Bratislava. She grew up in the nearby town of Pezinok, in what was Czechoslovakia for the first 2 decades of her life. She has described her upbringing as having occurred within an open-minded house. She studied at the Comenius University Faculty of Law in Bratislava, graduating in 1996. Between 1998 and 1999 she completed the training cycle, General Management, Management of Change, and in 1999 the ARC Mediation course, accredited by the Ministry of Education of Slovakia. After concluding her education, Kaputova worked in the local government of Pezinok, first as an assistant in the legal department, and later as a deputy to the town mayor. She later moved into the non-profit sector at the Open Society Foundations, where she handled public administration and the issue of abused and exploited children. Subsequently, she worked as a project manager at the Civic Association EQ Club on local community development. Between 2001 and 2017, Kaputova worked with Via a civic organization, as a lawyer, and with Greenpeace on campaign planning. In Pezinok, for more than 10 years, she was at the forefront of a public campaign against the authorization of another landfill that would aggravate pollution of the soil, air, and water in the city and its surrounding areas. The fight against the landfill culminated in 2013, when the Supreme Court of Slovakia ruled that the new landfill was illegal and violated environmental norms. Kaputova has run her own law firm and authored and co-authored several publications. She is a fellow of the Environmental Law Alliance Worldwide, a network of environmental lawyers and jurists. In December 2017, Kaputova announced her entry into the emerging political party Progressive Slovakia, and in January 2018, she was elected as a vice-chairwoman at the party's first congress, aiding Ivan Stefanko's efforts to assure the representation of a credible socially liberal alternative to the conservative status quo in Slovakia. As a co-founding member of Progressive Slovakia, a non-parliamentary socially liberal and progressive party, she served as its deputy chair until March 2019, when she resigned due to her presidential candidacy. Kaputova was the party's candidate in the 2019 Slovak presidential election and proceeded to be elected president in the second round, after receiving over 58% of the vote and beating her opponent, Vice President of the European Commission Maroš Šefčovič, an independent who was supported by the long-dominant Smer SD party. In a press conference held on 29 March 2018, Kaputova announced her bid for the Slovak presidency in the 2019 presidential race, having been endorsed by Progressive Slovakia along with ŠaŠ and SPOLU. After her main opponent, Robert Mistrek, withdrew from the race and endorsed her on 26 February 2019. She said she had felt compelled to run for the presidency after the murder of the investigative journalist Jan Kuciak. Kaputova won the first round of the election on 16 March 2019. With 40.57% of the vote, she then defeated her second-place opponent, Maroš Šefčovič, by around 58% to 42% in the second runoff round on 30 March 2019. The second round turnout of just 41.79% was the lowest for any round of voting in that type of election in Slovakia. The number of votes with which Kaputova was elected to office was also the lowest for any directly elected Slovakian president to date. Her presidential inauguration took place on 15 June 2019 during a special session of the National Council in Bratislava. On her campaign website, Kaputova says that justice in Slovakia does not always apply equally to everyone. In keeping with her statements during the campaign, she plans to introduce changes to Slovakia's police and judicial system. She campaigned for the police force to be an independent institution without political influence, headed by an impartial professional with proven service. She further claims that it is necessary to transform the prosecutor's office into a publicly managed institution. Kaputova is an environmental campaigner who has been compared to American activist Erin Brockovich. Climate change mitigation is one of her highest priorities. And for that our